Hi everyone! This is Janelle Ocloo, again of Lojo Immigration, where we provide you with confidence and clarity with your immigration legal matters. So this video is about secondary inspection. So first, a little bit of background. I just got back from getting to tour international arrivals at the airport, and I learned so much, and I am looking forward to sharing this information with you. So for those of you who are going to be traveling to the United States, first of all, check out my video, check out my last video on what to expect at the U.S. port of entry. Now, this video is going to go into a little bit more detail about what is called secondary inspection. Secondary inspection is basically when you are pulled out of the regular line and immigration needs to review your entry just a little bit more questioning, more review before they can let you in. That's what secondary inspection is. So first thing I learned when I went on my tour of international arrivals is Customs and Border Patrol, CBP. The CBP official said that, getting sent to secondary inspection is not a punishment. Okay, so if you are called out of the regular line and you're put to secondary inspection, please don't feel as if you're being punished, because apparently some good things happen. A number of good things happen in secondary inspection. So first of all, people who are coming into the United States on immigrant visas for the first time, okay, those are people who have gotten their visas to come to the United States as permanent residents. They get that packet of information from the U.S. Embassy or the consulate abroad. It's a lot of information in that envelope, and that can't all be processed and done in the regular immigration line. So if you're coming in as a first time as immigrating to the United States, they will ask you to go to secondary inspection, where it typically takes about 15 minutes to go through all that information in the packet and to actually process you to come in as a permanent resident. Okay, so for people who are actually immigrating, secondary inspection is a good thing. Also, some people are processed for U.S. citizenship at secondary inspection. But besides that, there are a number of times when people will typically, when you can typically expect to be pulled from the regular line and sent to secondary inspection. Here are some examples, okay? Say you are traveling on advance parole. Okay, you've been residing here in the U.S. Either you have a pending application to adjust status, or perhaps you have TPS, or even for some time, people on DACA could get advance parole. You have an advance parole document. Typically, if the immigration officer sees that the person is entering using advance parole, they'll send them over to secondary inspection, just so some checks can be made into the immigration record. Also, people who are permanent residents, lawful permanent residents, green card holders, who maybe for one reason or another, they don't actually have the green card. It could be that their green card is expired and they have a renewal pending or something, and they have had to get what's called an I-551 stamp in the passport, so a stamp in their passport as evidence of their permanent resident status, because they don't actually have, the physical card. Yes, people who have that stamp in their passport typically will also be sent to secondary inspection, just so immigration can look up the record and make sure you actually still are a permanent resident. Also, anyone basically who's had a criminal conviction on their record, it could be, something that is in the past, it's been adjudicated, but basically each time you enter the United States, it's going to ding on the record, and immigration is going to look further into the case before they allow you into the country. Okay, so now for those of you who get sent to secondary inspection, a few tips, okay? First of all, for some of you, you may have a H visa, an H-1B or an H-4, or perhaps you have a L-1A, L-1B, L-2 visa, a pending adjustment of status, and you also have the advance parole, the AP. Okay, so if you're an individual who has the HRL visa in your passport, valid visa in your passport, and you have the advanced parole document, you actually have a choice. Okay, you can tell the immigration official if you wish to enter the U.S. using your advanced parole document, or if you wish to enter the U.S. using an H or an L. Okay, so you can tell the immigration officer which means you wish to use to come into the United States. Okay, so then a question I often get asked is, if I get sent back there to secondary, how long am I going to be there? And the answer is, it depends. It depends. Sometimes it doesn't even depend on you. It depends on how many other people are back there in secondary being processed. As I noted before, for people who are being processed for actual immigration, okay, meaning they're coming in on an immigrant visa with the packet from the embassy, maybe it'll take about 15 minutes or so. So if there are a number of people who are sitting there before immigration gets to you, you could possibly be there for a while. One interesting thing I learned on the tour is that basically if you have been back there in secondary for about 2 hours or longer, typically at the 2-hour mark, the CBP officials, they will allow you to contact your family or friends, because you might have people who have come to pick you up at the airport and you're still stuck back at immigration. You haven't been able to come out into the section. So at that point, after you've been there for 2 hours, you can ask to be allowed to call your family member or your friend. And for some of you, your lawyer may be your friend. And that may be who you need to call. I'll say this in general about the lawyer comment, is that actually travelers, while they're being at CBP, there actually is not a legal right to counsel. Okay, so you actually can't demand to have your lawyer there. Okay. The other thing is some people, though, if they have kind of a complicated legal issue, I know sometimes they've asked me, other lawyers, to write an explanation so that they can show it to the CBP officials. If this is something that comes up each time you travel, you might have a letter that you want to show the CBP officials explaining your situation and why you can still be admitted to the United States. Many times the CBP officials will read and consider those letters, but we also learned today is that they may not. But certainly it can help, particularly if it is a complicated legal issue that you can't explain yourself. Now, if you've really been there for quite a while, first of all, you have every right to ask, say for example, if you need to use the facilities, that's the restroom. You can ask to be allowed to go to the restroom. Sometimes they may accompany you, but you can certainly ask. Also, for individuals who have been back there with CBP for a long time, typically if you've been back there at least like 4 or 5 hours, they'll actually offer you a meal. They'll offer you food. So all of that to say, that is secondary inspection. Okay. If you find that you are being sent to secondary inspection, it's nothing to be afraid of. Immigration just needs to have an opportunity to be able to check some information about you before they can let you into the country. Okay. So if you have questions about your particular immigration situation, I do encourage you to get in touch with a qualified immigration lawyer. Okay. Thanks for watching this video. If you found this information helpful, please give it a thumbs up and click to subscribe to Lojo Immigration for more videos. Take care. Bye.